Good morning. A quick little discussion on one of the fundamental principles of martial practice, which is interestingly practice versus training, or practice and training. So no system of martial training will be complete if you do not have both practice and training. Now, what does that mean? First, practice is the fundamental development of a skill, right? So, for example, a jab. If you're practicing a jab, everything about it has to be right in the system that you do, right? So if you have a fist rotation, the position of your elbow, your body mechanic, where your shoulders align, where your hips align, how your feet are, your full kinetic chain, all of those minute details have to be practiced until they're exactly right, until they can come out effectively. Training is then applying that technique in increasing levels of stress and in diverse situations with different footwork and different goals and objectives in your practice, right? So we practice something to make it just right. Then we train something to be able to use it in a variety of situations under stress. What's important to remember is that it's a cycle. So you will practice and you can get very good at something just by practicing it. But that doesn't mean that you can apply it. So once you practice and you attain a certain level of proficiency in a technique, no matter what it is, it's important to go through and to train that, to put in reps where you're no longer focusing on making it right, you're focusing on making it work, right? So we have practice where we're focusing on making it right, we have training where we focus on making it work. Our training shows us what needs to be improved, and then we take that back into our practice. Once we have our understanding of practice, that we work on developing what we discovered during our training session. That was kind of confusing, but our training session informs our practice, and our practice then develops so that our next training session we can learn new things. So, for example, my students are currently working on coming into clinching, as a means of dealing with somebody who is punching at us, right? So, slipping a punch, hitting on the way in, clinching, off balancing, and we've practiced it very slowly for several weeks, and now we're starting to add levels of stress. We're starting to train it. So today we were working on how do you do that when somebody's really snapping their punches in and out, not overcommitting. Okay, and there were some discoveries. In those discoveries, we identified refinements to our footwork, to our processes, to our hand placements that then we go back, we slow back down, and we work on those refinements. As we build those up, we train again. We practice it under an increased level of stress. And this whole process, this practice and training cycle, is what good, proper martial practice should be. So, food for thought.